Sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this week's edition of The Conversation. You're listening to us on WMNF 88.5 FM, also WMNF.org. I'm your host, one of your two hosts. I like the way I got that out there, Joe. Hosts. Man, that's hard to say with trays in your mouth. My name is Mario Nunez, and I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner,
Joe King Carter.
He's always in the house, and he's always ready to bring his A game. Joe,
hey.
What a week it's been, huh, brother?
Wow. Yeah, it's intense out there, isn't it?
I don't know what to make of it. They're coming after Big Bird again. They're going after PBS. They're going after WEDU. I don't know what to make of all of it. But I do know this.
Yeah.
I do know this. Those of you that are listening to us on WMNF and WMNF.org, welcome. And thank you for coming back with us this week and joining us again as you always do on Wednesday, Hump Day, midweek. But also, we're doing a little experiment today, Joe. I've got all the gear connected properly. Big shout out to Scott Maiden and the team over at TBAE for hooking a brother up with some equipment. Because we've been doing Facebook Lives from my personal Facebook page for a hot minute. And we but the criteria was that we didn't have the board sound coming through the Facebook Live, right? So the critique I received from everybody out in the community was, hey, when the callers call in, we can't hear.
This ain't no fun.
Yeah, we can't hear the callers.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't hear necessarily, because we're not bringing the sound in through the board, we can't hear necessarily the guests in the studio.
Right.
So the guests in the studio, and I'm getting thumbs up from our engineer team saying, man, we're not only on the launch pad, we've executed the launch sequence, and we are going for it. So
that's it.
Wonderful. If you're listening on Facebook right now, you're about to be introduced to one of Tampa's very own, Tampa's very best, and a dear friend of mine, Leroy Staley. We're going to bring him in here in just a couple of minutes. But if you'd like to watch us, because that's half the fun of listening is also watching podcast style. You can do that from my Facebook page, Mario R, middle initial R, Nunez.
That's right. And we have faces made for radio, by the way.
Yes, we do, Joey. You first. You first, my brother. So thank you all for watching, and we're going to be taking calls in just a little bit as we continue our conversation with Mr. Staley. But, Joe, you doing okay?
Yeah, it's rough out there, isn't it? The
news keeps coming at us, man.
I think that's part of the plan, isn't it? Let's keep them occupied with shock and awe. It's a shock and awe moment. And now, after Commander Musk and his geeks have raided the coffers,
the Treasury,
now our president, along with Netanyahu, are going to remove all of the humans from Gaza and turn it into West Palm Beach. That's.
I think that is going to be the undoing of, whatever's happening right now in the executive branch. Because
right.
And I say this, and we're going to say this, and we're going to move on because we've got other things to talk about. But
right.
I just have to interject this because in this country since Plymouth Rock, since that group showed up with belt buckles on their hats and shoes,
right, we've
been rather puritanical in our approach to sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and certainly as it relates to religion, right? I mean, the country they're trying desperately. Who's they? I don't know. You know who they are. They're trying desperately to return the country to its
something
religious roots,
some idea. Yeah.
Okay, because that was the foundation, right? Religious persecutions came over here, start a whole new thing for them, by them. But let me just say, if you think that you're going to turn the Gaza Strip into the Riviera of the Middle East, you don't know religion, pal. Because I think that those fellas that are willing to strap ordnance on their backside, stand next to you, and give it the old heave-ho, that's a commitment to religion that we don't understand.
We learned a lot through the British Empire and the Spanish Empire about colonial imperialism, and this is basically a renewed colonial imperialism on the part of our beloved president. So there it is. It's going to go down, and we're going to see what happens. And I may talk about this again on the show at some point, but folks out there, check out the rule of law and what the rule of law really means and what that means to all of us and what it has meant to society for the last 500 years. Once you have abdicated the rule of law, now you are in strange lands. You are in the land of tyranny and fascism. So, folks, rule of law means no one is above the law, and that's what we need to be looking more at.
Here, Joey. Here. So let me say that, and this is a nice little segue, as you mentioned the rule of law. Can you imagine if we played our sports without any rules of the laws of the rules? If we had, if whatever you wanted to, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, football, soccer, the sports that we tend to give our attention to in this country, if they had no rules, rules were you didn't even need the arbiters on there. You don't need the umpires. You don't need the referees. I'd like to ask our guest today how it would have been with him on the basketball court. Can you imagine? I don't need to dribble.
Yeah.
I'm not dribbling.
Yeah.
What do you mean I got to dribble the basketball?
I'm going to do it my way. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this opportunity to introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Leroy Staley, Jefferson High School, Indiana State University, Sycamore, and Tampa's very own, Carver City's very own. Leroy, thank you for coming in today, my brother.
You're quite welcome.
You always answer the bell. Whenever I call you and I say, Leroy, I need something. Staley, I need something. Man, you say, what is it and when do I need to be there? And today was no exception. So as we wade into the celebration of Black History Month, we wanted to start off with you today because you've got a compelling story to tell. And that story begins with my partner asking a series of questions just to kind of set the stage.
Yes.
Joey?
Because you already know.
I do know. I'm no good at this interview because I know.
No. You have to carry your weight.
I know. I will.
Leroy, let's go back to the beginning and talk about where you grew up and how you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Carver City, and my mother and father raised me well, raised me in the church, and definitely made sure that I did everything the right way.
I see. So does that mean you were always a good boy?
Not always.
So tell me a little bit about your family and how you grew up. Did you have siblings?
Yes, I have. Right now I have one sister and two brothers living in Fort Lauderdale. And other than that, my parents passed away. A lot of my relatives passed away, so I have a few. My Aunt Edith and Samuel Randolph, both of them. One lives in Jacksonville and the other one lives here in West Tampa.
Okay. And I've got family in Jacksonville.
We're getting to that age, Staley. So when you say that, your family is dwindling in numbers, I think a lot of our audience can relate.
Sure, of course. So you're growing up, and where did you go to school?
I actually started at Roland Park from 1st through 6th. Went to West Tampa, 7th and 8th. Got transported to Pierce. And then my first year, 10th grade year, we were on double session at Lato.
Wow.
And we opened up Jefferson in 1974.
There you go. And so, I've got a burning question I want to ask.
It was fall of 73, to be precise, Staley. It was fall of 73. The basketball season that year started in October of 73 and went through spring of 74. But yes, to your point, we were the first ones to walk through that building when it opened. And boy, did the school have that new car smell, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
I mean, everything was brand. We didn't listen. The school was so cool. I like the way that sounds. The school was so cool. We didn't have a library. We had a media center, and we didn't have a wooden floor in our basketball gym. We had something called tartan turf, which for those people in the know, it's like a rubberized surface, state of the art, brand new stuff. The school was really avant-garde. It was a new design. We didn't have two floors. We had the one floor, and it was in the like a shopping mall. And on one end, you had the auditorium. On the other end, you had the gymnasium, and all the wings, the classrooms were in the middle. It was really cool.
And everything smelled brand new.
Brand new, Papa. The carpeting.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? It's like just out the box, brand new.
Yeah, there you go. That new school smell.
I love it.
So the burning question I have for you is that we are going to talk about your professional basketball career, but what I want to know is, were you being shaped already in terms of your athletics and your interest in sports by the fact that you were a tall kid Because some people, here's why I asked that. I have friends they're very tall in the 6th grade, or they're not that tall, but suddenly they get a jump up when they become a teenager. How did that work for you?
It worked great for me. I didn't start off tall. I started off being a little short, fat, dumpy kid.
Oh, really?
Okay.
But can hit a baseball.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and when I started playing baseball for Forest Heights Little League, I did not realize how far I could hit the ball. And when I realized, I put one on top of Roland Park, and that was the highlight of my whole season in 1 year. But that was my sport. I was a better baseball player than basketball.
With wooden bats back in those
Yes.
days, too. With wooden bats.
Wow.
People don't know that about Staley. And for those of you that are listening on the radio, and for those of you that are watching on Facebook, forgive us. Staley's just out of camera range. Staley, if you can just slide a little bit to your left, maybe we can get your face. There you're coming. You're almost in the frame now.
There we go.
There he is. So for those of you that, I'm not going to ask Staley to stand up. Just know that the man is all of 6'5", and he was that in high school, and that's what led him to Indiana State University to play basketball, certainly. But his first love was baseball. And if you're familiar with baseball, the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, Hall of Famer, kind of comes to mind. He's that size. And we all know when Frank Thomas put a whooping on a baseball, he sent it a long ways. So it doesn't surprise me that, Staley, you took a liking to baseball early on.
Yes, I mean, I played baseball all the way up through semi-pro. And when it came to my junior year, I had a decision to make whether I was going back to Indiana State or going to play for the Cincinnati Reds.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. So you were recruited even at Indiana State University.
Yeah, we had a tryout from the summer team. I played for the Tampa Trojans. That was out of West Tampa. And we played a lot of teams. Never knew scouts were there watching us. And about 5 of us on the team had a tryout one Saturday morning. And
With the Cincinnati Reds?
Yes, they were ready to sign me behind Lee May at first base.
Lee May, whose claim to fame, and I know I'm going to scoop you on this, maybe, although I don't know. You know what Lee May's, a little trivia question about Lee May. Also, his nickname was the Big Bopper, by the way. About your size, big fella about your size. Lee May was older than us.
Yeah.
Lee May participated in the Vietnam War. Lee May had his right thumb blown off by a mortar shell, by a mortar round. He didn't clear his hand in time. Didn't stop him from making it to the major leagues. But Lee May was absent of his, I believe it was his right thumb. He was a right-handed hitter, as I recall. Anyway, just a little trivia. Put that in your satchel. Take it with you when you go. At the next cocktail party, you can whip that one out.
So if you had made a different decision, you would have been a
baseball player.
Yes.
Yeah. So when that time for that, we're kind of jumping ahead, but when that time came for that decision, was that a difficult decision, or how did you feel about that?
It was difficult because in the beginning, I wasn't going back to Indiana State. I was going to try to go to Florida State. But what happened is Coach Hodges called me that Coach King had a brain aneurysm. And so Coach called me and said, you know, if he get to be head coach, would I come back? And I said, sure, just call me and let me know. And he did. And I made the decision to go back, and that was probably the best decision I could have ever made for me.
Because it led to
playing in
a historic Final Four.
Playing in the NCAA national championship is one of my dreams that came true.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good.
Staley, talk about that, because I love to hear stories that end up with either a premonition or a dream or a manifestation of a thought that ultimately realized itself in that thing happening.
Well, how it
when did you first have that?
I had it in 1975 when watching Ricky Gallon playing in the NCAA tournament in the first round of the Final Four.
University of Louisville.
Yes, and with him going against Bill Walton.
How about that?
And just right around the time of my birthday, a lot of things happened. And I had that dream on my birthday that I was playing with a team that had sky blue and white uniforms.
Oh, my. Wow.
And
you had the Sycamore uniform color down.
The color was there, but everybody was thinking North Carolina.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's
true. I digress. It ended up being the Sycamores, but Carolina blues, maybe even a little more popular.
Yeah, but I did not realize until I signed with Indiana State to color the uniforms, and when the coach put the uniform in my hand, I started crying.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Because the coach looked at me, he was like, well, why are you crying? I said, Coach, you're not going to understand. I said, I seen myself playing in this uniform.
What number did you wear, Staley?
Well, 44.
Okay. That suits a big fella. That's a big number for a big fella.
Yeah.
That's amazing. A dream, a manifestation of a dream made so. I mean, it's really
And of
interesting.
course, you're going to emote those tears because that's what's going to happen to you
course.
at that moment.
Yeah.
So the other thing that people are already listening, they're trying to do the math on this. So 75, so 78, 79. When did you graduate? What year did you graduate? Who played in that Final Four? Let's go ahead and give it the big reveal right about now, Staley. Who was your teammate, Staley, on that team?
Larry Bird.
What? Say that again.
Larry, the man Bird.
Larry Legend? Larry Legend? You mean you got to go to practice with Larry every day?
Every day.
Did you ever have to guard him?
No.
I would hope not. Because Larry was a big trash talker, too. Well, from what we understand, Larry had legendary trash talk on the court. But he was always that guy. He was always tenacious. He was always wanting to win.
Always. I mean, he just had that nap to just push himself.
Yeah.
And not only that, he pushed us. And we knew he was a good player. We knew he was going to be a great player. But he brought our levels up to a whole different standard.
And you won some close games that year. And you didn't walk into the Final Four. You had to earn your way in.
Oh, definitely.
And remember some of those games?
Yeah, especially the Mexico State game.
Okay, talk about that. The Aztecs, right? Are they the Aztecs, New Mexico State?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. We'll go with that. The Aztecs. Unless somebody wants to correct us, we'll give you the number where you can call in here in just a minute and correct us. But go ahead, tell us about that New Mexico State game.
Well, actually, we went down to the championship with them, and no, it was in the season. We played them in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and the game ended up being tied because the fact that we were down 2 points. And Greg Webb was shooting a free throw. He missed the shot. Brad Miley got the ball, gave it to Bob Heaton at half court. He hit a half court shot, and we ended up tying the game. Well, consider it, Larry fouled out, Carl fouled out, Alex Gilbert fouled out, and so we played with players off the bench. And we ended up beating them in overtime.
And remember, that half-court shot was only 2 points back then because we didn't have the three-point shot yet.
Exactly.
Unless there would have been a three-point shot, you would have won the game dramatically on a buzzer beater at the buzzer. Half-court shot.
Yeah, it would have been nice to win it.
And you were on the floor when the game ended?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Wow. So, and while all of this is going on and your career is going on, what's happening what's happening with your family, or are you married?
What are you studying?
What is happening? What are you studying?
Dillon University. What are we going for? What career path are we going to go if we don't make it to the NBA?
Well, actually, I had got into recreation.
Okay.
And industrial arts.
Okay.
And that comes from my dad because my dad was very creative with stuff and loved to tear down houses and loved to tear down cars. And at the time, I think it was called Saul Walker. I used to take stuff there, and I used to.
Was that like a salvage yard? Like a salvage yard?
Yeah, like
Scrap ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
In Ybor City?
Yes.
Yeah. It became scrap ball eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I got creative because of that, because my dad was very good in running different types of machinery. Never taught me how to run them, but he was really good at it.
Mm-hmm. And you were watching him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that, I decided to, I didn't graduate from Indiana State. I'll put that out there. But my life made a turn with playing playing a lot of tournaments and plus playing a lot of softball.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that.
That was in the off season when you were running up and down the floor.
Yeah.
Remind everybody where it is exactly that Indiana State University is located.
Terre Haute, Indiana.
Terre Haute, Indiana.
There you go.
Gets cold up there, doesn't it?
Very cold.
Yeah. Were you used to that at all?
No.
No, I would say Tampa, Florida. Courtney Campbell Causeway, sand between your toes. I'm thinking, Clearwater Beach. No, that's snow and that's plenty of it.
Right.
Yeah, because my first year there, we had a blizzard.
Ouch.
Yeah. And when I seen interest, I said, "Oh, no school." They came and got me and told me, "You go into class."
That's not how it works up here.
No.
Well, that's good, though. You spent how many? You spent 2.5 years, 3 years up there?
I ended up being there about maybe close to about 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, then you found employment in the community, right?
Yeah.
You stayed in Terre Haute.
Yeah.
And if I know the story, but tell everybody about you found your way into corrections, right?
Yes. I started off working at Glenn Civic Center.
Okay.
Got a little bit more experience on how to run leagues, play softball, help run the softball league, and actually help to build a field.
Like physically cut the field out and put the clay down. And, wow.
Yeah. So, and then shortly after that, I ended up getting a job with the state prison system. It was in Greencastle, Indiana, and I started off as a correction officer.
Okay.
And so I did correction officer about a year and a half.
How old are you now?
I was about 24, 25.
Young guy.
Yeah. And turned around and I got promoted into recreation because of
your previous experience
yes, and moved to Southern Indiana, which was real close to French Lick. In Tell City, Indiana, got down there and worked at a place called Branchville Training Center. That was between Louisville, Kentucky, and Evansville in the boonies.
Yes.
And then turned around, not knowing I was playing basketball there with some guys in our league, went and played Brescia College. And not knowing that the athletic director at Brescia College was one of my teachers at Indiana State in recreation.
So small world, even up there in Indiana.
Yeah.
We say it here in Tampa because, when we grew up here, it was such a tiny little town. Bradenton the same way, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, you knew everybody, but I guess
absolutely
that could apply even in Indiana.
So I ended up working 2 jobs.
Okay.
I was ended up coaching at Brescia College. I got my first experience there coaching college basketball. And it was interesting because those guys, I did not realize that Hubert Smith's nephew was on the team, Leno. And I kept looking at him going, man, I know this kid from somewhere.
Looks familiar.
Come to find out
That you played with, you played with his uncle at Jefferson High School.
Ended up coaching it.
If you'd like to join the conversation today, we would certainly love to hear from you. And we'll give you that number here in just a couple of seconds. I think we've got a station identification coming up here at the bottom of the hour, which is right about now.
Hi, I'm Ernesto Reitich, and you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Núñez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM Tampa. Hola, mi nombre es Ernesto Reitich y están escuchando The Conversation con Mario Núñez y Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM Tampa.
Muchísimas gracias, Ernesto. That's Ernesto Reitich. He was our guest last week, and we just love to hear. Yeah, that Spanish sounded pretty good coming through the board, didn't it?
It did. It's nice. Yeah.
We should have some more Spanish programming here. I think I'm going to push for that.
Well, why not?
2025. Things are changing.
Yes.
So if you'd like to join the conversation this morning, if you've got a question for Leroy Staley, if you're his dear friend and you're listening and you want to ask him what it might have been like to have to guard Magic Johnson in the 1979 finals, the NCAA finals, because he buried the lead. He talked about playing with the man from French Lick, Larry the Legend Bird, but also on that other team at Michigan State was one Magic Johnson. And we've got photographic evidence that at some point Mr. Staley had to break down in front of Magic and try to take the ball from him or block a shot. I don't know. If you'd like to ask him that question, give us a call, 813-239-9663. You can always send us a text, 813-433-0885. Emails are welcome, dj@wmnf.org. Staley, you want to just touch on that real quick? I know we kind of went past the Final Four, but since I evoked the name of the great Magic Johnson, do you remember having any exchanges with him on the floor? Did you talk to him? Did you pat him on the backside and say, "Hey, man, that was a nice shot"? What, how'd that work out?
No, that was after the game.
Okay. No. During the game, it's all head down. Let's get down to business.
It's all business at that point. So, guarding him was interesting because it's hard guarding somebody that's smiling the whole game.
The whole game, right?
Yeah.
And you couldn't figure out, why is he smiling so much at me?
Exactly.
He's a little bit taller than you, right? Goes about 6'9"?
Yeah, he's 6'9".
Yeah.
Can handle the ball
real well.
Like a point guard.
Yeah. Well, he changed everything. I mean, he and Larry single-handedly resurrected the NBA, and if things were sagging a little bit in ratings at that point, the Celtics and the Lakers for the next decade were battling it out. So,
well, the one thing is they had a guy on the team named Greg Kelser.
Mm-hmm.
Greg was a very good player, and he killed us. He didn't miss too many shots
on that day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So while Magic got all the attention, Irvin Johnson got all the attention. Mr. Kelser, is it? Mr. Kelser was draining twos because there weren't no threes back then. If it was a 3-point play, it ended up being because you got that and one.
Yeah.
Basketball fans, if you've got a question, give us a call. What else you got, Joey? I know you got some interesting questions.
Well, because I'd like to sort of talk about, because today you are currently still coaching, is that correct?
No, I'm actually working at Hillsborough County Parks and Recreation. Just started that back.
He went back to recreation.
Oh, okay. You went back. Okay,
yes.
Okay. But you are doing some coaching there, is that correct, or am I incorrect about that?
Actually, I work with the kids. We teach them different. We teach them hockey, soccer, basketball.
Wow. Very good.
They even have a dance class there now for the youth, and I was surprised. I just found this out yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. Will you be participating in that, Mr. Staley?
No, they have someone that's wrong.
Okay. I know Mr. Staley's very versatile, but I never seen him hit the floor and do some. But I bet back in the day you could cut a rug pretty good. You know this is right. We grew up watching Soul Train. We knew all the moves.
So how long has that experience been going on? You've been doing that?
I've been doing that for about the last 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, working with them.
And working with them, what is that? Kind of give us a sense of how you feel about that. I mean, it must be very rewarding.
It is. I mean, to see kids succeed, that's the thing that I love, that I see kids come in and, have some a few issues, but you work with them and they get past that. Mm-hmm. And as they get older, you can see the progress and you can actually literally see their grades improving.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that they are athletically wise, a lot of them improve too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've worked over time with recreation centers, and community centers, recreation centers have a special kind of effect on young people that need guidance, because in the school you're in, there's a lot of social pressure. And you get to the recreation center, you can shift that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a program. It's called PCA, Positive Coaching Alliance. And we have a lot of different, such as bullying. We talked to them about bullying. That's the topic for this week. Mm-hmm. And we get them to where, for me, I used to use a broom, and when we sit in a circle, and I would have them pick up the broom and act like it was a mic so they could talk. But you could tell the kids that were shy, but you could tell the ones that were outspoken too. Mm-hmm. So it made a difference in helping them to be exposed to, talking in front of the other kids.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. So if you'd given that broom to little Mario when he was 10 years old, he would have been just going to town.
I would have been ripping and running. What, are you kidding me? And I would have used it as a broom as well. I would have swept something. It's a broom after all. Staley, we want to get to talk to you on the backside. We've got a caller we're going to go to here, but I want to talk to you on the backside about the influence of the Boys and Girls Clubs in your life as a young man as well, because I think that helped shape you. Certainly it helped shape our dear friend who we lost recently, Ricky Gallen. You mentioned him earlier, University of Louisville. There'll be a celebration of life. We want to mention that before we get off the air. Ricky Gallen's celebration of life will be this Saturday. But let's go to our caller, and then we'll come back and talk a little Boys and Girls Clubs. Caller, thank you. We see you there, Simon coming to you now. Thank you for holding. Simon, what's on your mind?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Real quick, when you were saying the rule of law, I was thinking of the days of Earl Monroe and Walt Frazier and how Stephen Curry carries the ball now.
Oh, Simon, we didn't know you knew basketball like that. Come on, Simon.
Back then, when you look at the athletes back then, you have Dave Winfield, who was drafted in baseball and basketball. You had DeBusschere, who played for the Knicks, who pitched for the White Sox. So you had more athletes that actually played dual sports. But what I wanted to ask you is, as the game has changed, where it was primarily from the inside out, you'd had Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Atlas, who played for the Warriors. The game was inside. Now the game is outside with the three-point shot and the European step back. As that's changed, you have more Europeans now playing in the game. What's your thought on the philosophy of how the game has changed, and also the fact that now the game is not as, and with all due respect, not as a street game and in the view of athleticism like Dr. J and what have you. You have more of passing and more of finding the open shot. Your thoughts?
Simon, I'm going to take you off the air so you can hear this answer. And let me say, just for the record, Simon, I didn't know you rolled like that, my brother. I'm going to give you a ring right there because that was a very
informed, absolutely
very well
informed.
No,
good,
you can
job,
tell. You can tell he's a basketball fan.
Yeah.
No, you got the step back, you got the Euro step, you got the influence of the European player, and the big man. Although he is still important in the schematic breakout of basketball, when you've got a guy like Wembanyama now who's 7'4" and he's handling the ball like a guy 6'9", who's handling the ball like a guy 6'3", it has changed the game completely. Please.
Well,
outside in, inside out.
When you think about the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, basketball was brutal. It was very physical.
Yes, it was.
You had two-point line. Everything was more inside. Now you have more players that are playing over here as outside shooters. The flow of the game now is a lot faster.
Yes, sir.
But you got to look at kids now shooting like Curry and, everybody want to shoot a three. Everybody want to shoot a three, but you don't find inside players anymore being the high scorers.
They're the distributors now. They're giving the ball, they're inside, and then ball's coming back out. And, to Simon's point, it changed the evolution of the game. It's from the street game, like you say, that was a brawl inside, because it was a brawl, full contact, and very short shorts, by the way, to now everybody's running up and down the floor. It's a track meet, but these guys are they're the consummate athletes as far as I'm concerned, with their physical conditioning and the fact that they've got, at 6'8", 6'9", 7 feet tall, handling the ball the way they do. So there's that. As far as the physical component, you can overlay that into baseball. You can overlay that over to football as well, because the brutality of football back then was, if Dick Butkus couldn't unscrew your head and take it off your shoulders while he was tackling you, it wasn't a tackle. There was nothing clean about that. And you want to stare down Bob Gibson because the next one's coming at your coconut. So the game has changed. And I think this is for another conversation, but I think it's changed in great part because of the money involved. These guys are trying to protect themselves because the money is so good. They want to get it as long as they possibly can. Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't have a Pro Bowl anymore that is a full contact Pro Bowl. We got flag football. These guys can't hurt themselves in a Pro Bowl game with tackle football because they got to be ready for next season. So I went way off track, but great question, Simon.
To Simon's point, Leroy, if you were playing today, 20 years old or whatever you're playing, how would you fare, do you think, being on that outside track more? How would that work for you?
I would say, considering that after junior college, going to Florida College, I learned how to shoot long-range shots.
Okay.
But my game changed to playing inside and outside. It wasn't just one-dimensional.
Okay.
And plus, having to get rebounds, having to play defense.
Right.
Defense now is not taught.
No, the games are
not the way it
120 to
was then.
118. There's nobody playing defense.
So when you figure you got a good defensive player that does one thing, but then you got to be able to shoot long range. You got to be able to go inside, and you got to be able to distribute the ball. Mm-hmm. And the game has really changed to more of a European league versus what we're used to in the United States.
And also, by the way, am I incorrect? Because I don't follow basketball as closely as Mario does, but when you were playing, you were a pretty tall guy, weren't you? I mean, wasn't the average height? It's increased dramatically since you played, has it not?
Yes, I would say that particular year changed the era because when you look at Magic was 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
A lot of guys like myself, I guarded Maurice Cheeks. Maurice Cheeks was about 6'1", 6'2". Mm-hmm. I guarded Mark Aguirre, which was about 6'5".
Talk about a shooter from Marquette.
Yeah, Mark Aguirre was wasn't a fast player, but he was a big player and could shoot, and he could use his weight.
Yeah, he had a big body. He had a big body on him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you look
Dallas
at those
Mavericks for a little bit.
and you look at those type of players, you don't see those type of players anymore.
Right. Yeah.
No, the players are all lean, number one. And this is the other thing, too. You have to consider that in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we hadn't quite got to the point where athletes were really concerned as they are today with nutrition and health and longevity because, again, it's all around that dollar. You know, if you could play a couple extra seasons in the league
right.
and pad that 401k or just at least make a little extra money for, later, because it's also very demanding. 82-game schedule, the body takes a beating. Big fellas have big problems with their big feet and other things. No, I mean, listen, I'm not telling tales out of school. And there was a caller on here a moment ago that just dropped off. I was just about to go to him. If you'd like to call back, please do 813-239-9663. I promise to pick up in a more timely fashion if you give us a call back. But isn't that the truth? Yeah. Basketball players, shoulders, right? Elbows a little bit, shoulders, knees, feet. Which one is the worst? Which one do you have problems with to this day? 6'5" Leroy Staley guy.
More knees.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the knees are the ones that need the attention, and the hips too a little bit. You want to talk a little bit about our dear friend Ricky Gallen? You want to tell us a little bit about Ricky?
Well, Ricky, we grew up together, and I was always a very nice young man, and was always. We were always on the basketball court, playing against older players. Mm-hmm. Kids that was, guys that were going to Blake and Plant. When you talk about, Clay Reeves and Winston Davis, some of those guys.
Those names resonate with locals for sure.
Yeah, and they would tell us, "Don't come back," but we would keep going back. Because we wanted to play.
And you wanted to get better.
Yeah.
And you wanted to get better.
Yeah. But Ricky was a very humble and very good player. People don't realize Ricky had a tremendous outside jump shot.
And remind everybody how tall Ricky was.
Ricky was, 7 foot?
Yeah, he was right at 7.
Yeah.
Right at 7 feet in high school.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, no. It's we tell the story all the time. At Jefferson, if you remember the layout, those of us that do, there were lockers. Mm-hmm. They were in the middle of the mall area, right? So they're not there today, but they were back then. And you could always see Ricky because Ricky was taller than the lockers were at their height. And this was 1974. So brother did have an afro. Mm-hmm. And brother did pick it out when he came to school.
Right.
So, he's now looking about 7'5" with that thing. And if he was wearing, maybe he was wearing some tall shoes, he looked ridiculous. But he could play. Ricky could play, and he just humble, just quiet enough. But on the court, he had that switch that you hear so many people talk about athletes that, calm and serene out here. Mm-hmm. And then when they get on the court, it's all biz. And Ricky was certainly like that. I'll never forget the first game that I saw him play in high school. I think he dropped 52 on Robinson. And I think we scored 54 that night. Maybe Staley scored the other 2. But all they had to do was bring the ball down court and throw it up over everybody's hands. And Ricky was so tall, he's like your big brother when you're playing with your big brother on the court. And he just hold the ball up and you can't get the ball.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Yeah. We lost Ricky. And Ricky, we we still to this day are wondering, how we're going to all move forward without him, because Ricky also was influenced by the Boys and Girls Clubs. And I know you were too, Staley. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started off with saying that in back of Roland Park, I remember Glenn Permui coming back there one Saturday, and he asked us to come to the Boys Club. It was the Boys Club back then.
Correct.
So we made the decision to go, and it was a very humbling experience because we learned a lot and was taught a lot. And we played basketball, played baseball, played flag football, and had fun doing it. But we learned how to interact with other kids in different aspects, and we just had a lot of fun going there and just learning. And it made us...
It was a safe space, was it not?
Yeah, very safe space.
Indoor basketball court, which was also always at a premium, right? If you got a chance to play indoors, much better than playing outdoors.
Yes. But we were creative. Back then we were very creative. I mean, you talk about using a wiffle ball and a bat, playing home run derby. That's what helped me with baseball.
Absolutely.
And, we played basketball. We played to win. And that's what we did.
We didn't have virtual reality back then, Joey. We had reality. Right. You know what I mean? We didn't have the virtual reality goggles where you can sit there and see yourself, inject yourself into a virtual world playing. Right. We had to go out with a rock and a stick and make up a game.
I spent many hours in the Boys Club when I was
Wasn't the Boys Club a good place? And, some of them had swimming pools. So that was another advantage. You could learn to swim. Now, I know your home Boys Club was West Tampa Boys Club. There was also Inner Bay at the time, and Ybor City was still in play as well. I think the only one that didn't have a pool close by was the West Tampa one, but there was the swimming pool at McFarland Park that I'm sure you guys got on the bus and went to.
No.
Thank goodness. Listen, thank goodness for the Boys and Girls Clubs, because really and truthfully, and we've kind of gotten away from it a little bit now, but during the decade of the 50s and 60s, maybe even starting as early as the late 40s, man, it was an incredible place to go to commune with your friends, to learn how to get along with others, to learn how what required to be a good citizen, really and truthfully. Because if you didn't behave or if you misbehaved, you'd lose your privileges.
Yes, that's right.
You couldn't go back to the Boys Club, and you wanted to be there, man.
And there was just enough adult supervision to make it safe,
correct,
and good, and yet there wasn't too much adult supervision.
No.
And you could be free to socialize, to play whatever you wanted to play. I was a
bumper pool.
Oh, bumper pool! I was a bumper pool king.
Right, Staley? Did you play?
Yes, I did.
Well, who didn't, man?
Oh yeah, ping pong.
Ping pong was right there too.
It's all there.
Now listen, I'm just going to say this about the Boys Clubs, and if anybody's out there listening and they want to dispute this or they want to add to it, please call in and let us know. They actually had at the West Tampa Boys Club, I found out later, something that involved BB guns. Now let me ask you this, man. BB guns? So you got 11, 9, 12-year-olds, and they're loading up their BB guns and they're doing target practice. It was like a competition, right?
Yes, it was.
You stand X amount of feet away from the round target and you shoot the target and whatnot. But can you imagine that today?
No, that would not be happening.
So that's true, right? That's not a...
That's true.
Absolutely.
We did competition with other boys clubs.
Well, I don't remember BB guns.
I know, I don't either.
I do remember the pancake jamboree, however.
What was that all about?
Oh, that was like eat some
you could eat pancakes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. and by the way, as a kid who was an artistic kid, the Boys Club had a great arts and crafts department.
Yes. We don't ever talk enough about that.
And I spent a lot of time in there, and I got a lot of supportive art training that eventually helped me in my school studies as an artist, because schools had a limited art facilities. And it was at the Boys Club that I could make things and bring them home to my mother, and she would ooh and awe. Yeah.
And put them all over the refrigerator.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Of course.
There you go.
Maybe we need to have Glenn Permui on one day, and we can go and do a deep dive into all things Boys and Girls Clubs to just remind everybody of the virtues and the goodness that that institution, American institution.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is, for Glenn to come to our neighborhood, and recruit us to come to the Boys Club meant a lot, because when you look at just my career in basketball, my first year we went 12-0 and got to the state tournament, the championship game, played it on the day of my birthday. They wouldn't let me play.
Oh.
But they said it wasn't fair to the other kids because I was
older.
Older. But think about it.
And a little taller.
My career started at 12-1 and ended at 33-1.
Wow.
That's pretty good bookends, my brother. That's pretty good stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
So when you watch basketball today, do you watch it with a basketball in your hands? I mean, is it kind of thing where, you just want to feel that, you want to feel those rubber pips under your fingers? You want to feel that orange round ball underneath in your hands? I'm curious because sometimes when I watch a baseball game, I might have my glove on. I might be holding the ball. Seriously.
Wow.
I know.
That's strange.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Joey, come on. You know what I mean?
I'm getting ready to watch. I have my glove on.
Right.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't
stay
really
there.
keep a basketball.
Not that obsessed.
No.
Hey, there is a basketball. But listen. So, your first name is Leroy. Your middle name?
Milton,
I love that name.
like the hurricane.
I love that name. Yeah, Milton did a lot of damage around this area, too. And another thing, going back to our dear friend Ricky Gallen, nobody knew, unless you were a really close friend, and you might have known this, but I didn't know this until most recently, that Ricky's middle name was Alonzo, which I think is the coolest middle name ever, Alonzo. So much so that they used to call him Zoe. I found this out. They used to call him Zoe when he played in Italy for the 15 years that he played in Italy, and his youngest daughter is Zoe.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense. And I probably would have been the only one in Tampa calling him Alonzo. If I had known his middle name was Alonzo, I never would have called him Ricky. And he'd have looked at me like, Mario, come on. I was like, sorry, Alonzo, I love it. It's a cool name. But, yeah, where was I going with that? I don't really know. I don't really remember. It doesn't matter. It's just that we're grateful. I am, and I know you are too, the role that athletics played in our youth. You know what I mean? Because it kind of gave us a little direction.
Yeah.
And it kept us, from doing crazy stuff, but it also kept us physically fit.
Yes,
Right?
it did.
Because nobody was, you were running around chasing the ball doing something. You didn't have a chance to get, soft or sit around the couch all day. You were just out in the street playing and having fun with your friends.
Yeah, and then, I played for Frank, his brother. Frank Premier played baseball.
Legendary
for him.
baseball coach at
Yeah.
Gaither High School.
Yeah, played for him, and very good coach. Very good coach. He taught me a lot of little technical things with my batting and catching the ball, because he used to take the ball and just throw it on the ground, and I had to use my glove to make sure I picked it up. Just little things.
I can't imagine, Staley, if you had really had the success. I know you sustained an injury in high school, and you had to kind of rehab the injury and then come back and kind of make your decision at that point which direction you were going to go in, because it was too demanding. Otherwise, the baseball, and unfortunately, the basketball season kind of bleeds into the baseball season. For those of you that follow basketball now, it starts in October, and the NBA finals aren't until June.
Yeah.
And the spring training starts here now at the end of this month. Pitchers and catchers will be reporting at the end of this month, and it goes on through November. So you've got a big overlap there. You can't really play both of those sports professionally. You got to pick a direction and go with it. But I would have, you were the kind of guy at your size that struck fear in the third baseman, because that's a little too close to the plate. With this, you know what I mean? 6'5", 225 pounds coming at you, brother. Good luck.
That's true.
Joey, did you ever have that experience?
Which experience?
6'5", 225 coming at you. You can say no, it's okay.
Other than someone I might have dated? No,
Joey!
No, I've never had that experience.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a call here from Sarasota. Let's get this call right quick, and then we'll come right back. We've got a second caller there waiting as well. Matthew in Sarasota, thanks for calling in. What say you, sir?
Oh, you guys are wonderful. By the way, I just want to start off by saying I'm just enjoying the show, listening to the heritage of Tampa. I grew up here, went to school for art up in Tampa back in the 90s. I'm a little younger than you, Kat, but the boys club thing hit a nerve with me. If it wasn't for that place after school, I was a latchkey kid, so that was the only place. And me and my sister went there, and I think it really made a turn in my life. And I'm a commercial artist. I work for a lot of big companies, most of the theme parks and everything. And I think back to that boys club days, and I know in my gut that if I didn't see that guy, David Roberts, just sketching stuff out real quick, he was a young guy, really awesome person, just gave me the knowledge, and it started me on fire. And I did a lot of athletics there, too. It kept me fit. I was a little lanky, nerdy art kid, but I got some time in doing some baseball and stuff, too. So you guys, what a wonderful show, guys.
Matthew, thank you so much. We listen.
Great, Matthew.
This
Thank
is
you
not
for the
lost on
comment.
us. We are grateful for your listening to us today. We are having a fun time today, and I think it's coming through the radio. So thank you. I also wanted to ask, Matthew, do you do any mural work? I know you said you're a commercial artist. Do you do any mural work?
Yeah, I'm kind of locally famous down here. I did the Siesta Key Crescent Beach wall about 30 years ago, and I've been doing murals around here since I was about 20-something. I'm 53 now.
Matthew, do us a small favor. If you would, please send us an email here at WMNF, dj@WMNF.org with your contact information. We are trying to put together, I'll just say it this way. We are in process right now of getting the gymnasium at Jefferson High School renamed in Ricky Gallen's honor. And if you don't know about Ricky, do just a little Google search on Ricky.
I know a little bit about him.
Well, we'd like to also.
It's all up the coast, and the name rings a bell for a lot of people.
Big bell. And so we would like to paint a mural of Ricky on the inside wall of the gym, and maybe you could help us with that. Maybe you can consult on that, and maybe you can even do it for us.
Yeah, my big claim to fame lately as I'm getting older is if I don't do it, I know somebody who does. So
yeah.
Well, please send us.
Well, Matthew, I'm an artist as well, and frankly, I would just love to see some of your images. That would be fun. As a fellow Boy Scout inductee, sure.
Absolutely.
You can Google my name. It's Matthew Oakley, Sarasota.
Oh, excellent. Very good.
Thank you, my brother. Thank
Will
you
do.
again. We will be in touch. And once again, we are grateful
Guys,
for your.
Awesome. I'm actually taking the pinstripes off of 1981 Camaro's nose cones right now. And your show is just fuel, man. It's been wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Matthew.
Have a great week. Thank you, sir. That's great. Let's go right away quick before we run out of time on the show today. Wayne in Newport Richie, we've just got a quick question. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I went to the boys club there back in early 60s, probably 62, but there was a guy that came around there on a bicycle selling devil crabs.
Mr. Miranda.
Yeah, that's him.
Miranda's Devil Crabs. Listen,
Does anybody remember that?
of course. You couldn't be a Tampa native of any significance if you didn't remember.
Leroy just had to cover his face.
Yeah, he did. He remembered. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all smiling.
I remember my mother used to drop us off, and we used to go over to McFarland Park before we actually went to the boys club.
Little bit of hot sauce on that devil crab, and now you know you're home.
That was good. That was the best devil crab I ever had. You can't duplicate it anymore. I don't know what happened.
Well, I'm going to give you a little insider tip here. If you get an opportunity and you're in Tampa, you're around, go to the West Shore Mall. There's a place there called the Silver Ring, which is a legend.
No, I know the Silver Ring. Yeah.
There you go. Well, they do a pretty good job of competing with that Miranda's original devil crab. Listen, thank you so.
Wasn't the Silver Ring originally in Ybor City, the Cuban sandwich?
Yes,
100%. They had the window there where the sandwich maker would make the sandwiches in the window to entice the pedestrians on 7th Avenue. But it's been revitalized and reimagined. Now they're at West Shore Mall in the food court. So if you'd like to go kind of take that little nostalgic trip.
Oh, yeah, I will. I remember the Pinella family had something to do with the Silver Ring, I thought, back years ago. I don't know.
Make sure you tell Nelson Valdez that the boys over at The Conversation sent you. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, the devil crab, by the way, is that's a historic construct of Tampa. That's a Tampa cuisine purely.
I remembered about that place.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Excellent.
Be well. Thank you for listening, Wayne.
Thank you.
That's great. We have some great listeners, and I'm so glad they called today. Those last two callers were really special. Hey, Staley, we got about a minute to go. Is there anything that we haven't said? We want to talk about Ricky's celebration of life this weekend?
Wait a minute. Before you get there, I want to know why you were laughing about the devil crab.
Because he ate too many of them. He knows.
Them all the time.
Oh, okay. All right.
And probably wants one now.
That's how I got my height.
Staley, tell us again the time and the place if anybody would like to join us to commemorate and celebrate Ricky Gallen's life. It's at the Skills Center, correct?
It's at the Skills Center from 2 to 4.
This Saturday?
It's on 22nd, right before you get to Hillsborough.
Correct.
Yes.
If you're coming on Hillsborough, you turn south on 22nd, and it's just a block and a half in on the east side of the road. You can't miss it. Listen, Joey, who's coming up next? We got about 15
Well, I just want to say very quickly that WMNF's fundraising is about to start in the next few weeks. And if you want to give us some money now, you can go to WMNF, hit donate now, and then hit show code CON for the conversation and start giving us some money now. Jim Bannon is coming up with some magical music. And thanks to Jessica Green, our OG on the board. Thanks to Joe Remo and Santiago back there in the...
for taking our calls
taking our calls. And there it is.
We're so grateful for you, all of you listeners. Thank you again, Leroy Staley. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
We'll see you again next week on The Conversation. This has been Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. You're on WMNF Tampa.
Thank you.